And when the time came, he was like, I have nobody on my roster. I want to put everything that I have into you. And Ask Jenn came about. We had a meeting. He was like, if we have a show, like, what would it be about? I was like, well, people ask me stuff all the time. And he's like, what do you mean people ask you stuff all the time? I'm like, they always ask me my opinion. They ask me about different things. I'm always up on political topics. I read the news a lot. I watch a lot of TV. Like, I just know stuff. And then he was like, well, what we call it? And I had a friend named Kelly. She used to always tell me, I don't ask Jeeves, I ask Jenn. So I was like, okay, we can call it Ask Jenn. And it's been history from there. It's been going up.
This episode is brought to you by our friends at Bamboo. Yes, I am sitting in the podcast room at the Bamboo Detroit location right now, which is where you have seen a ton of the Black Fridays podcast episodes. And the reason that is because Bamboo has been Black Friday's creative hub for the last couple of years. However, it's much more than our creative HQ. It's home to hundreds of entrepreneurs, creators, thinkers, and doers just like yourself. Now, whether you need a private suite that's customized to your liking so that you can effectively get work done, or if you need a space to be able to host a meeting or a conference call, Bamboo has flexible, creative spaces and a supportive community to match. Now, if you don't get anything from this message, I need you to do this right here. Go ahead, click the link to check out Bamboo's selection of private suites at any of their locations. That's right, any of their Bamboo co-work locations. And you can also find a link in the show notes as well to get those details. And it's time for you, yeah, that's right, you, to join the Bamboo community. That's it. Time to get into the show. What up, though, Black Fridays family? Welcome back to another installment of the Black Fridays podcast. Before we get into today's episode, I need you to go ahead, hit that like button, subscribe button, share some episodes, drop some comments on this video and then some other videos as well. All right, now that we got that business out of the way, I got the Oprah of Detroit in the building. Miss Ask Jenn, how you doing today?
Hi, that is my favorite title that people have given me, and I take it very, very seriously.
You know it's real when the people give you the title.
Hello, I don't call myself the GOAT. I leave that to the people. Ain't that what Lil Baby said?
Absolutely. Well, appreciate you for stopping by the podcast today.
Pleasure.
Absolutely. Grateful to have you here and would love to understand for you, and I know a little bit about your background because I did my research, but I just want to hear from you in terms of how did that opportunity to even get that title come about in terms of being called the Oprah of Detroit and Ask Jenn, the show. How did these things come about for you?
So it was not natural, like, at all. So, like, in college, I did a View type talk show with a few girls that I went to school with. It was called The Tea. My friend, Kaylin, shout out to her, was like in production in the communications college at Michigan State University. And she was like, I want to produce my own talk show. That talk show went amazing. And it was something I'm like, I like being on camera. I like people wanting to hear my opinion about things. Like, I love that. Had a really big, like, following on Twitter at the time. Like, people were always interested in what I would say. Always interested in me having an opinion. I started a little podcast and then I got pregnant with my daughter and I just stopped. And of course, like, I always had my social media. Even when I had my daughter, I had really bad postpartum anxiety. So I was in the house a lot, but I was still letting my little fingers be in a little timeline gangster, still always having something to say on social media. So Barry, the owner of the Uprising Network, this had to be like 2021. He had a lot of shows that he was producing on the Uprising Network, cooking shows, talk shows, all types of different things. And he, because of the pandemic, like, you know, nobody was recording anything. And like, this was when outside was kind of opening back up. People were starting to gather again. And he was like, hey, the network is completely clear. If you would like a show, like, I would want to give it to you. Mind you, I was a guest on another show on Barry's network. And he said, if you want a show, like, let me know. I'm thinking he's just being polite, being funny. And when the time came, he was like, I have nobody on my roster. I want to put everything that I have into you. And Ask Jenn came about. We had a meeting. He was like, if we have a show, like, what would it be about? I was like, well, people ask me stuff all the time. And he's like, what do you mean people ask you stuff all the time? I'm like, they always ask me my opinion. They ask me about different things. I'm always up on political topics. I read the news a lot. I watch a lot of TV. Like, I just know stuff. And then he was like, well, what we call it? And I had a friend named Kelly. She used to always tell me, I don't ask Jeeves, I ask Jenn. So I was like, okay, we can call it Ask Jenn. And it's been history from there. It's been going up. It was completely Barry's idea. If Barry never said, like, hey, do you want to do this? I probably would not be doing anything. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So you started the podcast prior to
Yes,
Ask
it
Jenn.
was called A Shot of Jenn. I had 3 episodes. The first one was about like mental health. The second one was about friendship. And then the third one, I don't remember what it was about. It never came out. One of my really good friends, she is actually a producer of like reality TV and stuff like that. She was like, the way you speak about things, people actually want to hear it. And she was like, let's try to produce a podcast. But after I found out I was having my daughter, I was like, yeah, I ain't got time for this. I'm lazy. I'm sleepy.
Yeah.
It's not even priorities. I was so tired.
Okay. And rightfully so.
Rightfully so. Carrying a life is hard work.
For sure. And so you start Ask Jenn, and then Ask Jenn is primarily a show. Like you said, people get a chance to send you questions, ask you for advice, talk about their life. Some people just come on there to be messy from what I've seen. Like, they don't even ask no questions.
Oh, they're my favorite.
They don't even ask no questions. Like, yeah, my friend ain't. But
love that.
And then you've also had some pretty significant and big guests on there, including the governor of the state of Michigan, Gretchen Whitmer, also Alicia Baumgartner.
Love her.
Multi-time boxing champion for people who may have not heard of her. Lil Blade, son of Blade Icewood. Like, the list goes on. But what has it been like having those type of guests, those type of conversations with those caliber of people on your show?
I really love the aspect of like pairing something very like conventional with something unconventional. So I really feel like when these people come on my show, they're known for something. They're a rapper or a boxer or the governor of the state of Michigan. And I feel like when I sit with them on the couch, I get the opportunity to kind of take them outside of that kind of box that people see them in, kind of humanize them, ask them questions that they've never been asked before, have conversations that aren't as cut and dry as like a reporter would be able to do so. So it's like, yes, we're still getting the information. Yes, they're still getting the facts, but also you're seeing that this is a human being outside of the role that you see them in. I feel like so often people, especially like when you're talking to reporters, the whole point is to get the facts. Oh, we're trying to sell this story. Oh, we're trying to get that out. And with my show, it doesn't have to be that rigid. And I think that's the beauty in it.
Right. That's super dope. I can resonate with that because my whole goal is being able to expose people to the business behind the things of whatever it is that people do, and then also the people who is behind it, because people do business and interact with people, not businesses, brands, robots, AI, all that. Like, it's actual human to human connections is what makes things shake and make things move. So I definitely resonate with that. I think that's super cool. So I'm gonna take a pause for a minute because I got to introduce you to my favorite part of Black Fridays, which is Freestyle Fridays.
Freestyle Friday, period. Okay.
All right, so go ahead, give us your 8 bars.
Oh my gosh.
It's 7 p.m. Friday. It's not. You don't have to rap for real.
Really?
No, you can if you want to. We'd have people rap, sing, do poetry.
Oh my gosh, I don't have any of that.
You can freestyle.
I'm Ask Jenn, and I'm here to win. If you want to get to know me, ask your friend.
Keep going.
We here downtown, and it's going down. Ooh, I like how that sounds.
Yeah. There you go.
When I step into the room, they don't make a sound.
Keep talking crazy to
We
them.
keep having a ball. We going to the mall. I don't know about y'all, but y'all. But I ain't gonna fall. Period.
Come on now.
Yeah.
Come on now.
I did that. Ooh, Trina, come see me.
You coming for the crown?
Oh yeah.
Well, if you don't mind, I still want to ask you some of these Freestyle Friday questions.
What's up?
All right. So first, this is a very important question on Black Friday. Always have been. What's your Coney order?
Oh my gosh. A grill. First of all, Coney, the body is not bodying like it was. I can't handle that. I love a grilled chicken salad from Nikki D's, pink sauce. Okay. That's my thing. If I go like anywhere, I'll come chicken pita, French fries everywhere. Yeah. Okay.
No chili cheese fries?
No, the chili and the cheese got to stay away from me. Okay. Can't do it no more.
It ain't even possible no more.
I'm like, all that stuff coming in a can. They warm it up and they put it. No, can't handle it.
Growth. Talk about growth. Yeah.
Talk about growth. Like, okay, where's the USDA label? Is this organic? Like, is this gluten free?
Right.
No.
Right.
TT can't do it no more.
For sure. And I know that you are big on sisterhood, friendship. So I would like to know, and I want you to keep your friend group in mind because you're adding this person to the chat. Okay. If it was a celebrity homegirl that you had to add to the chat that you would get your sister's approval, who would that be?
A celebrity homegirl to add to the chat to get my sister's approval.
Yeah.
Like any celebrity?
Yep, any celebrity or person we might know of.
Like my friend group chat.
Right. To the group chat that you got right now, you adding them to the chat, and then everybody gonna be cool with it if you add this person.
Oprah. Duh. Like, honey, I know people feel that way about Oprah, not me, honey. I'm a fan. I am a fan. I love me some Oprah.
Why does she get so much smoke right now?
I feel like billionaires are not good people, and Oprah's a billionaire, so everybody should have smoke for her. It's earned, but hey, I like her.
It is what it is.
We all got our favorite billionaire. We all got our problematic faves. Oprah is mine.
Got you, for sure. Do you, what has been your favorite interview so far or favorite episode that you've done of Ask Jenn?
My favorite episode of Ask Jenn so far has been Dusty McFly. Because he does not talk to people. I can say that like wholeheartedly. Before I did the interview with him, I was doing research on the last time he did an interview. He was like on a podcast in like 2020, but before then, he hadn't done an interview in quite a few years. So outside of actually interviewing him, getting him on camera and like Dusty McFly is Detroit's Soulja Boy in a sense. Like he was one of the first rappers that we saw like get a deal, rise to fame. Like all of this stuff was like happening right before our eyes that we see all the time. He even mentioned in an interview like Ghazi and Empire and the distribution deals that all of these rappers, like he was one of the first people to get him. I feel like people really forget about how he paved the way. I feel like, you know, Doughboy Cash Out and Lodge Boys and things like that really get their flowers. But I feel like as far as like making trendy Detroit music,
we forget about Dusty.
We forget about Dusty, and I'm glad that I was able to add him back into the conversation. And I'm like following him on social media. He started a Patreon. Like he's dropping something all the time. It's just like being able to put him back in the, like, don't forget about this one. I felt really good about that.
That's fire. That's fire. Is there anybody that you have like a dream guest that you want to sit in that seat one day?
Cash Doll. I'm so tired of every time somebody like, who your dream? Cash Doll. Cash Doll, come see me. I want to interview Cash Doll badly. She has seen so much and has seen so many iterations of the city of Detroit. And then on top of that, to add into the fame that she coming into, I'm like, I know this girl got stories and I want to hear them. I want to hear them.
You talk about Dusty.
She's a mom. She's a mom.
Right. Because you talk about Dusty, she was a part of that era too.
She was a part of that era too. I always say I'll never forgive Tinashe for never making that remix official. What you mean?
Facts.
Cash Doll with the ass out throw a back pickup. No, what?
Right.
Why wasn't that on the radio? Why is not on music video?
Tinashe probably don't own the record.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm like, Cash Doll, come see me, boo.
That's what's up. Shout out to Cash Doll. And then let's see, what else? What other Freestyle Friday questions do I have for you? I forget. I think that might be it. So
right. Oh, so I'm off the hook. Now I done gave you a rap and then I done had to answer the questions. Okay.
Yeah, you did.
I'm good.
You did extra credit.
Ooh, I love extra credit. I am a overachiever.
So shout out to you.
Thank you.
How did you, in terms of your career, so I know that you have a background in social work.
I do.
And so in terms of your career and then you having this media platform, and then like you said, it got started when you were in college, and then understanding that you like to be in front of the camera and do these type of things. How did that kind of translate for you? Or was that something, was the media aspect of it always a thing for you? Or was it something you didn't learn until college and you felt like, I'm always a social worker at heart?
So this is the thing. I would like growing up, like at school, I was always doing the school plays. I would do the morning announcement. If there was ever an opportunity for me to be in front of people, like I would do it. I was never scared to talk or showcase myself in front of people. And I think that's something that just stuck with me. And I think that's why, like, as my platform grows, like none of this really like phases me, because I'm like, I do like being in front of people. I like being able to share information. And then that kind of goes into my social work background. So if you think about what does a social worker do, right? They connect people to resources. And then of course, like if they go like the therapist route, they're facilitating conversations. And I'm like, that's what I do every single day with Ask Jenn. I'm always using my social work skills to provide people with resources, provide people with tools to cope, give people advice, be able to connect the dots. Honestly, I even think about in my own life, like it's called Ask Jenn because people are always asking me questions, and some of these have real life implications, or it can be something as simple as like, what you doing this weekend? What's the best event to go to? I'm trying to network. Like, how do I meet people? I'm like, there is always the aspect of me being a resource and facilitating conversation. And that's really what social work is. And I always have to tell people to do Ask Jenn. I actually gave up my social work license because I don't want people to see the advice that I give on my show as professional advice. I don't want the lines to be able to cross. And I'm like, that's how much I believe. I can always get my license back. Like, that's no problem.
Okay.
But it's just like, I always tell people, like, this is me. As much as I have the knowledge and experience, this is an entertainment and a medium platform. Please take the advice as serious as you would like to, but don't confuse it with the professional advice that a social worker would give, because I am a social worker.
Yeah. So I feel like being in the media space and having the platform that you've been able to build and the brand you've been able to build, and then also just being a social worker as well, because I have people in my life that's social workers, got their MSWs, including my sister who does it. And so I'm wondering, I feel like those are two powerful platforms to like be able to leverage. How do you view both of those as opportunities to be able to like serve people, so to speak?
I think MSWs are some of the most powerful degrees that people can get. Like, I know you see a lot of people with like MBAs, but like to me, MSWs are just that. I see people with MSWs who provide counseling services every day. I see people with MSWs who are C-suites at companies. I see people with degrees like in psychology and things like that working at tech companies. Brene Brown, like one of the most influential motivational speakers, authors, and she's an MSW. Debbie Stabenow is an MSW. So I'm like, when I see how transformative media can be, I'm just like, my MSW degree really just empowers me to do so, because I'm like, I see how many facets like this can really fit in, and how many different ways the skills that I gain as a social worker has been able to benefit me in media. So it's like, as I rise in one aspect, I'm continuously putting the other one on the aspect. And I feel like so often people feel like they have to choose, but I'm like, this is an asset to what you can do, and you can hold both in such a high regard.
That's huge. Now, can you take us behind the curtains and talk to us about how Ask Jenn is actually produced? So,
oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah. Could you tell us a little bit about the process and how it all comes together? I know you're able to, leverage your community, heavy, super talented people that you're working with, like JG, Barry that you mentioned, Aaron, that be creating. So like, how do you leverage that community? How do you all make it come together?
So there's two aspects to it. It's like producing a solo episode and producing a interview. So with the solo episode, I take questions from my box that people send the question into. The questions are sent 100% anonymously. I tell people all the time, this could be my best friend talking about me in a question, and I would have no idea.
It's like a third party website.
Everything is 100% decoded. It comes in like from a random email address in the question forms. So I formulate the episodes by like organizing them. So say for example, I got a whole bunch of questions about friendships, or I see a reoccurring thing like, these people are talking about starting over, or these people are talking about making a hard choice, or these people are always talking about friends and family. So I separated them like that, and I formulate episodes from there. The solo episodes of Ask Jenn are in two parts. They usually cover two subjects. So then from there, we organize the questions, and it depends on like flow, and we create a script. So like, these are the questions that we'll be answering on the show. We take them, of course, we put them like on a nice, neat cards. And when we go into production, there is the camera operator. When we first started, we had two. We had LaRon and we had Barry. Now it's Barry and two cameras, because like we figured out how things go. We bring LaRon in sometimes if we need like a third angle or another videographer if we need that. And then we have JG, of course, the Audio Wave Network, on audio production, who mics everything up and makes sure it all sounds good. And then we record the episode. Usually, sometimes on set, I have a production assistant. That's what Aaron does, or co-produces, and comes on, make sure everything looks right, the coloring is fine, the set is right, the set is consistent. And then we record the episode. For guest interviews, it's a little bit different. One thing I like to tell people, I never send guest questions ahead of time. Okay. When you see me ask guest things, it is 100% in real time. I don't want the integrity of the answers that I get to be messed with. I don't tell anybody what to say. So I'm like, you answer the question to the best of your ability, and whatever comes out of your mouth will be your own wording. Yeah. So like, that's really important to me. So I write down the questions that I want to ask. And again, I categorize them based on flow. Like, okay, we're going to talk about the past, the present, the future, what have you. I run those questions by Barry or somebody else who I'm really close to for a second opinion. Like, this one is too long. Take that out. That doesn't really fit. You can ask that another time, or you can take this out completely. It might come up in conversations, and then we put them on the nice, neat cards. We coordinate with the guests. I schedule all my guest interviews. That's another thing, because for me, the quality of an interview is very, very important. I say this as politely as I can, but I like to talk to guests who have things going on.
For sure.
Because it's very, very difficult to formulate an episode when you don't have much to work with. Also, it's very difficult to formulate an episode or an interview with people who don't really do interviews. So like, it's like I'm talking too much or I'm saying too much all of the time. So like when people are like, when I tell people they don't want to be they might not be a good fit for the show, it's not really offensive. It's just like, I will be working so much harder to be able to produce an episode with you. So guest comes in. If a guest comes in, we have 3 cameras. So we have one on each angle. I get a front, they get a front. And of course, JG mics us up and we record the audio that way. In post-production, Barry edits all of the episodes completely. JG hands over the audio. We match it up. Sometimes I listen to the audio ahead of time and tell Barry, like, okay, when you're editing, these are the things that need to go out. But sometimes Barry does it by himself. Most time Barry does it by himself because he's an expert. And then I watch the episode and I'm saying, okay, we can cut that. This is too long. This doesn't make sense. I'm stuttering XYZ. And Barry takes it back to post and we just go back and forth until we have an episode that we're happy with. And I feel like people don't understand, like, the process is so back and forth. That's why sometimes it takes episodes longer to take out. They're like, I saw you in this outfit like 3 months ago. Why is this episode just not coming out? I'm like, that post-production process, depending on how happy or how satisfied I am with the episode, might take longer. There are episodes of Ask Jenn that have never seen the light of day because I looked at them in post and I'm like, this sucks. I'm not putting this out. So like, yeah, that's really the process. And after the fact, watching the episode, seeing which posts I think will do good on social media, which clips to put together to be able to make a trailer, which clips to be able to put together independently. I think I'm very, very funny. So which one-liners do you think people will be able to take from that and then see how they perform? Like this one goes on Instagram, this one will go on TikTok. I usually don't post the same type of content on all of my social media platforms just because like different types of media do well depending on what you put on. So everything isn't always the same. Yeah. And then we put the episode out. Yeah.
So what I loved about the latter part of what you said is more so the marketing aspect of it, because you have to be able to reach that community of people that need that advice in terms of what you're providing on the show when they send in their questions. How did you... Is that something that's natural for you, essentially, what I'm trying to understand? I
am a chronically online person. Okay. So, like, I will watch an episode of Ask Jenn and be like, oh, this is so funny. We have to clip this part. Oh, we have to put this one-liner. We need to make room for this. I made silly faces this entire time. Every time I change my face or every time I chuckle, we need to clip that, like, very much so. And I think... I'm just, like I said, I'm just chronically online. So I'm very in tune. Like, okay, people are going to like this on here. People are going to like this on that. Oh, this is going to do well on this social media platform. So I do think I'm really good at that. But of course, like, I have a bunch of other friends who are social media girlies, who are social media gurus. So I always pass things to my friends who like, what do you think I should do with this? Is this clip funny? Like, what did you get from this? Would you watch the whole episode based on this clip? I am consistently always asking for feedback. I got a good circle of experts around me, so I lean on them a lot.
That's what's up. How has it been developing like your tribe, essentially, the people who ride for Ask Jenn and watch faithfully and follow you on social media? What has that been like for you?
It has been so powerful for me because like I am a person who values community and relationship. And the fact that I really think I am who I say I am, and for me to be able to put that on screen and people meet me in person and feel like I am who I say I am is so affirming. I don't want to ever seem like I'm a person that is out of touch or people can't talk to me or people can't reach me. You know, like somebody might see somebody from social media in person and feel like they can't come up to them. Right. I never want people to feel like that. And I'm so grateful to see that I have cultivated a community where people don't feel like that. I have been everywhere from the club to the grocery store to work, and people walk up to me and ask me, are you Ask Jenn? And I am so happy to say yes. I get my phone number out. I tell people, I give people advice on the spot. Like, it is so powerful to see that I am just this one person, and I have been able to create this strong community that started online and it 100% has an in-person presence. I feel like I did my job in that aspect, and it just makes me feel really, really good. Like, I'm glad that I am a person, regardless of the medium that you meet me, whether that's in person or online, and I still feel approachable and somebody that's really warm and somebody that you still want to connect with. And that's something that I never want to lose with my platform. Like, no matter how big I get, I don't want people to ever think I'm not approachable.
And that's fire because I can see that through the content that you've developed in terms of how it translates from YouTube to TikTok to Instagram, like being able to consistently stay engaged with that community. And then, like you said, you are out and about. You had the opportunity to do your own events, go to other people's events, and then you are the same from what I've seen with my eyes, the same in those spaces.
I love it so much.
Yeah.
And I even think about like the caliber of guests that I attract. Like people like, after you interview the governor, like I thought you was gonna change. I thought you was gonna switch up. I thought you wasn't gonna do the solo episodes anymore. I thought you was gonna stop cussing. Like it's like people because the platform is growing in a certain way or my following is growing in a certain way, people expect me to switch up unless somebody is about to hand me $1 million check and say, hey, Jen, you can't cuss on no episodes of Ask Jen, baby, I'm gonna be cussing. But if that check come, I'm gonna stop. But until that check come,
right,
it's gonna be me all the time.
Yeah. Talk to me about the business of Ask Jen from the standpoint of the platform. If you've been able to monetize that, how did that come about? And then also, I know that you've been able to develop opportunities from your personal brand, from a hosting standpoint, from being able to do your own events and co-joining events, things like that. So could you run us down, like how have you been able to develop a business around the Ask Jenn Show?
So the Ask Jenn Show in itself, the Uprising Network channel is monetized. So all of that revenue goes back into the business. Anything that we need for the show, if we wanted to upgrade the set, get a new camera, buy memory cards, all of that stuff, every dollar revenue generated from the channel goes 100% back into the show. I also have been able to get opportunities to host. So what hosting is, and of course, like me facilitating an event. So that comes with a fee. So people are able to pay me to come to their event and host. And most events that I host, I do promote. So the fee that comes into play is me hosting and promoting, especially like depending on, I may have a larger following than some of the events that I'm promoting. So there's a boost in that aspect. So there's a promotion fee and the hosting fee. Then we have things like facilitation and panel moderation. So that comes with me looking at a group of people, wondering what they have in common, coming up with questions and being able to facilitate a conversation for like Q&A. That comes with like conferences or all of these different things. So the idea of me using my intellectual property to come up with the questions and then facilitate the conversation and keep the conversation going, that is a completely different revenue stream. Sometimes people think hosting and moderation is the same. It's not, especially because my talent is facilitating conversation and asking questions. You have to, if you want me to come up with questions to ask people, you have to pay me for that. Okay. So there's that opportunity. Sponsorships. If you want a fully produced episode of Ask Jen, like you mentioned, people ask to be on my show, and I'm like, it might be a little harder to produce an episode because you don't have things going on. You can sponsor an episode of Ask Jen. That comes with the fee as well. With a fully sponsored produced episode of Ask Jen, that means you get a complete episode of Ask Jen surrounded and catered to your brand. We get a conference call to be able to talk about what aspects of your brand you want to talk about. We develop your brand story. So in that aspect, we can come up with an episode that has enough things to talk about that you can get an interesting and compelling episode. And I also tell people, episodes with me are a marketing piece. If you're doing really good on an episode of Ask Jen and you're telling your story really good, you can be able to clip that, use that how you want to on social media, put that in pitch decks, send that to the other brands, be able to use it for marketing purposes or things like that. So because people will be essentially using my likeness to promote their brand, that comes with the fee as well. And then of course there are smaller sponsorships, like you can get a mini commercial in an episode of Ask Jen, or you can put your product in an episode of Ask Jen. All of those things come with fees as well. And of course, because it just is me trying to figure out a way to fit your brand and to fit in mine. And then of course, like I just do collaborations with people as well. So I might do something in kind, like you give me this, I might do a post for you on social media, or you give me an item and you pay me for social media promotion. Again, I feel like that goes into another pillar to Ask Jen brand, my lifestyle brand, my personal brand. A pop-up shop, if you want me to come, like there's an appearance fee for that. I understand that I have a responsibility to my audience, and the things that I suggest and the things that I promote, people take that very, very seriously. So I don't want to be promoting the wrong things to people. At least if I'm going to take a hit, I'm going to get some money for it.
For sure.
It got to be fair.
For sure. And can I steal that sponsor episode model from you?
Absolutely.
Okay, cool.
Absolutely.
All right.
And I have a whole deck. If you want to, I will send it to you. You can change it. Yeah, it's packages like, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, bet. I put together my deck not too long ago. So yeah, no, any insights and stuff I can get about that, I'm always trying to,
I got you.
trying to
I'll
learn.
send it to
So
you.
yeah, definitely appreciate that. Is there anything that you are aiming to do from a business standpoint that you haven't been able to do yet? Like any products that might be rolling out? Any paid
I forgot all about the products. I did the start stealing shirts. It was an episode of Ask Jenn that I recorded, and I was talking about how these companies have been price gouging us and all types of, and I said start stealing in it, and I started selling the tea. So I don't know if you remember like the stop snitching camera.
Yep.
It was a green stop sign that says start stealing. No shirts did fantastic. I definitely want to do merch. Leave your baby with a daddy is just like a tagline of mine. People see me and say it when people are leaving or when moms are having a mom's night. They are tagging me on Instagram talking about I'm leaving my baby with their daddy. So I'm like, that has legs. So I'm like, I definitely want to do something with that. But yes, merch. And I think I'll be wearing clothes. Like, that's another thing. Ask Jenn, like, when people watch the show, they are always asking me, like, what are you wearing? Like, where do you get your clothes from? So some type of, like, collaboration with some type of fashion company or like a capsule collection or something like that with a clothing company is definitely something that I'll be interested in. Or like some signature jewelry. Like I'm always wearing like a statement piece or some earrings or a necklace or something like that on Ask Jenn. So if I could collaborate with like a jewelry company for like a signature line, that would make me pretty happy too.
Hoop Mob, Harper Ray.
Oh yeah, I got the girlies. They know what's going on. Yeah,
for sure. All right, so we're gonna have a little fun because since we got you here, I want to ask Jenn for some advice. I just want you to think about the first thing that come to mind when I bring up these topics.
Okay.
So first, we're gonna ask Jenn about relationships, platonic, non-platonic. What's the first thing that come to your mind?
Reciprocity.
Tell us more.
So I feel like most problems in people's relationships, both romantic or platonic, is people are ideating what they expect or what they think people are doing, are not doing, and never communicate with that. Literally, when people have relationship problems, the first thing I ask them, like, well, have you told them that? It's so often that people think because we have relationships or people are supposed to know us well, they should just know, and they don't.
Right.
Open up your mouth. And then it's just like, well, I expect this person to do this thing for me, or I expect them to behave this way towards me. Do I behave that way towards them? And usually the problem that you are having lies within the answer to that.
Right. I think it was a quote. I'm not gonna repeat it on here, but you said it on an Aaron show. You was like, I'm at the stage in my life when I realized I ain't got to do a damn thing.
No, and don't. I don't have to. I feel like so often I guess like if you ever seen like that picture of that guy like sitting in a puddle and he say I'm drowning. So there is so often that we put ourselves in these boxes and we have so many problems because we don't want to step outside the box. And I'm like, if you just take your foot out the box, these problems won't exist. Yeah. So it's just like, it's so often I have found myself like fighting, like, why is this not working? I need to try harder. I need to do more. And it's just like, no, you just need to do something else. And I feel like it is nice to have goals. It is nice to have plans, but it is also okay to pivot. I feel like people feel like when they walk away from things, when they don't work, it's like quitting, but it's just like, it is literally not. You are driving a car with no engine. Get out the car.
Facts. Because I always tell people Black Friday is my fourth podcast.
See?
Yeah, it ain't my first rodeo.
And that's when I tell people I had a talk show before, I had a podcast before. Like, Ask Jenn, this is working. And that's the only reason why I'm here. If Ask Jenn ever stop working, I'll be gone. And I'm okay with that. I think about there are so many TV shows and talk shows and programs that were on when I was younger that are not on anymore. Right. If things stop working, that is okay. And I'm okay with that. I'm a proud quitter.
Because at the end of the day, you still Jenn, so you can. I'm still Jenn.
I've still done this, and I can do it again. And who's to say, like you said, Black Friday is your fourth podcast. What's to say what I do after Ask Jenn won't be bigger than Ask Jenn? It's just like, stop being scared. Right. Believe in your power and what you can do. This thing did not make you. You made the thing. Be you. Right.
Now let me ask Jenn about finances. Get into the bag, or just any thoughts that come to mind of any advice you can give people about finances?
Ask people. I feel like it is a million ways to get it. And so often we don't know that because we're not asking enough questions. Like you just sat down and broke down to me, like, what's the business side of Ask Jenn? Nobody has ever asked me that. There are a million ways to be able to get money. I met a lady, shout out, what's my girl name? Dina Neely. She told me that she set a Google alert about like EVs and electronics, and now she has a multi-million-dollar EV company. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, we are not asking each other enough questions and are not doing enough research because we are not asking each other enough questions. If you see somebody with some money and you are interested in how they're getting that money, ask them and find out for yourself. Like you said, some things look good on the outside. You might think like this person is making all of this money doing something legit. You start talking to them and find out, this is a little sketchy on the side. But I'm like, at least you ask the question.
Yeah.
I feel like, especially with social media now, it's so easy to see and believe. Ask some questions. Again, so many of the things that I talk about and so many of the issues that we just have in general, it's just communications. I feel like people need to be asking more questions. And I'm glad that we're in a space where, especially like social media, information is being shared so freely. You're going to find someone who will be happy to ask, like, what's the breakdown of your retirement plan?
Yeah.
How much do you save? You make this much a year. How much are you saving a month? Oh, you just got a raise. How did you just ask your boss for that raise? I feel like there's enough information out there and we are communicating with each other enough. We need to be asking each other about money a lot more.
That's real.
It's how we all get rich.
That's real. Especially your friend who might be doing, you don't know what they really do for work.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cause honey, I wanna be in Jamaica on Wednesday too. Tell me what we doing.
Or take me with you at least. Yeah. So let me ask Jenn about family. What's the first thing that comes? Any advice that you have about family?
Prioritize your family. I feel like if you do not prioritize your family, you will not have a good life. And I say that as a person who has seen how good your life can be when you give everything back to your family. You really have to take care of those who take care of you. What was a man who never takes care of his family can never be rich. Jay-Z said that. I really believe that. I feel like family is the foundation of everything you have. And when this world falls apart, the only thing you will have is the blood in your body. And that goes back to your family. If there are days, like I have a daughter, there are days where I'm being Ask Jenn. I go get my makeup done, record an episode, probably go to an event afterwards, probably go to an event after that, probably go to the kickback for drinks after that. My daughter has not seen me since 10 o'clock. But there will also be a random day where I'm telling people I am not taking bookings so I can spend an entire day with my daughter. What prioritizing your family looks like, make that decision for yourself, but just make sure you do it. And again, we will all not be here at some point. You want to give your family something to leave behind, and I'm not talking about money. People need good memories of you. People need to be able to think about you and the life that you lived and have positive thoughts and know how you felt in a room. Not what you did, but how you felt when you walked into a room. Consider that always.
I think that's huge because you go to funerals and you read like obituaries and it don't say much.
It don't say much.
Yeah.
Nobody can speak to your personality or the quality of the love that you were able to give. Like that's powerful to me. That's something that I'm really big on how I leave behind. Again, what I do for people don't matter as much as how I make them feel. People will always remember that. I don't remember what somebody did for me yesterday, but I can remember how much love I felt on Mother's Day. So I'm just like, always prioritize your family. To me, it is a life hack. Like I would like tithing and taking care of your family. I don't know nobody who got a bad life who don't tithe or who don't take care of their family.
Come on now. Now you preaching. Now you Pastor Jenn. And before I ask you the next Ask Jenn advice, real quick, in terms of the family element that you mentioned, I know you're Nigerian. Is that big in Nigerian culture?
Yes. We all live in the same compound. Like unless you are a woman, you move away to like you join your family, your husband's family. Now you belong to your husband. But family is really big. Family is huge in Nigeria. Like we all lived together. Essentially, we all raise our kids together. Like, no, and also just from a lineage perspective, knowing who is in your family and what they are doing, and that all of us are building a legacy together is just really, really big in Nigerian culture. And I really feel like that's something that I carry on now. I think about like what my little cousins are able to say about me. When they say, oh, that's my cousin Jenn, I want them to be able to say a bunch of great things. I don't want them to say, oh, she don't got nothing going on, or oh, she cool, she nice, I be seeing her on Christmas. Like, that's not the type of legacy I want to leave behind for my family. I want people to have very strong things to say about me and be able to speak to my character. So when they have kids and their kids have kids, everybody in their family will be talking about their cousin Jenn.
Right. That's powerful. And last but not least, want to ask Jenn about career. What's your career advice for us?
Ask for what you need, whether that's a mentor, whether that's a raise, whether you want to check in between performance reviews and like, where am I going? What opportunities do I have? Is the grant money on my project running out? Again, everything is keep going back to communication. Ask for what you need and like and be firm about it. I feel like, especially like with management, we are seeing companies lean their teams out, and directors always changing and managers always changing and all of this other stuff. So things get lost in the shuffle. Don't ever think somebody gonna handle your career better than you can. Get your reins on it and be persistent and get the things that you need done and answered. Because I feel like I'll be on LinkedIn every day seeing people talk about they work for a company for 30 years and just got laid off. These companies do not care about you. So make sure the time that you there, make sure you're getting what you need up out of them. Make it work for you. Make it work for you.
Because you'll pass out on that job and then post your job in 2 weeks.
Ain't no 2 weeks. That night. What you mean? Right. What you mean 2 weeks? That night.
Yeah, John gone. We're going to have to.
We got to fill this position. Like, honey, you are working. You are working. Make sure you getting what you want. You can't be a person who just is another number at the company. Because like I said, we are seeing day in and day out how they treating people. Make sure you get some ends too.
For sure. You went 4 for 4, so thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for successfully taking us through Ask Jenn. Since everybody likes to ask Jenn, what would you say are your favorite type of questions to answer? My
favorite type of questions to answer, just because like these things I think are like the core of my being, questions about family and questions about friendship. Just because like I've spent so much time honing in to my family and my friend relationships to be a quality family member or a quality friend. I feel like I have a lot of insight in that area. And I talk to enough people that I've gathered enough research that I'm like, people do not like this or people do like that. So I think those are questions that I really answer well. Also, I love when people ask questions about me. I just did a full episode of, I get a lot of questions on Ask Jenn that people are not asking for their advice. They're literally just asking me questions. So when people ask me things, because again, I don't get to talk about myself much. When I'm doing solo episodes with questions, I'm answering other people's questions. And then when I'm doing interviews, I'm asking questions about my guests. So when people just write in like, Jenn, I love that dress you had on 2 weeks ago. Can you tell me where you got it? Like, I love those episodes. So like, those are my favorite types of questions to get, really.
And Jenn, with the community that you have built through Ask Jenn and then just your overall brand, what have you gotten out of the community and then the engagements that you've been able to have? Like, what are some of the things that you've kind of gotten out of this journey that you've taken?
You never know who's watching. Like, I have had people come up to me like, oh my gosh, like you answering this question helped my friendship so much, or I've been following you on social media for this amount of time. Like, I have like learned so much from you. I've watched you become a mother, especially like my daughter having ASD. Oh, thank you so much for sharing this journey with me. I'm going through my own journey. So it's just like me building this platform and recognize like, oh my gosh, people are watching me and we're all growing together. Like, I think that's my favorite thing. Like, you really never knows who's watching. The governor team reached out to me. I think about that all the time. Like, I had no idea that anybody who is working in Lansing had a clue about what this platform was doing. And it's a joy in that, knowing that can impact so many people that I don't even have an idea exists. Like, I think that's my favorite part, recognizing that the work that I do is value outside of what I produce on the screen, and people care enough to try to connect with me in other aspects.
That's huge. And do you ever think twice about like content or certain things that you do, given the fact you don't know that who's watching?
I'm always in my head about things. And the thing is, I feel like I should be a little more cautious, but I get in my head a lot, like, especially depending on like the subject matter, putting yourself on a screen and putting it in front of people, you open yourself up to a lot of scrutiny. So I second guess a lot of content or a lot of things that I would like to put out or having, or things that I want to say and I don't, simply because like I'm one person. Yes, this platform means a lot. Yes, it's everything to me. I never want to lose it, but I'm like, I got to protect my peace. And I know with certain subject matters or certain things that may arise or certain opinions that I might have, that's going to come with some heat. And some days I don't mind dealing with it, but some days I'm like, I just don't got it.
Yeah. What's the craziest thing you've gotten?
Oh my gosh. I on an episode of the show, I was asking a question and somebody was like, my homegirl is dating an amazing man. I said, he's not dating an amazing man. There's no such thing. The men in those comments were angry. They were so mad. And I'm just like, you're arguing with a stranger on Instagram. You're definitely not an amazing man. Like, you're proving my point. Right. Yeah.
Because I done got some YouTube comments that just say some ridiculous stuff. Like, what about White History Month?
No.
Blocked. Delete.
Oh, when I interviewed the governor... nursing home COVID death, she killed. I'm like, what are you doing?
Relax.
I'm just an interviewer.
Right. I'm just a radio. I'm just radio personality.
I'm Wendy Williams. Yeah. Why are you talking to me about nursing home deaths? I don't know nothing about this.
Right. Like you did it.
Leave me out of this. But like, yeah, it's just like, and then I really don't care. I'm a cuss out queen. I'll yell at anybody. So it's just like I said, some days I'm like, I can deal with this, and some days it's just like, I don't even want the pressure.
Facts.
No, don't put it up. Oh, sneaker balls. Telling people I hate this. Oh,
tell me.
Telling people I didn't like sneaker balls. Controversy.
Wait, why?
They're tacky. I'm not a fan of sneaker balls.
How so? Tell me more.
I feel like I could not imagine putting on the most beautiful dress I own and putting on a pair of gym shoes with it.
Okay, when you put it like that, I get where you're coming from now.
Like,
I get where you're coming from.
I think they're cute for kids. I think they're so cute for children. Yeah, that caused a lot of problems too. People are like, oh, you wear weak shoes, or like you're not wearing the right shoes. I said, I am wearing a $600 dress. There is no right shoe that got a rubber sole with this dress. Like, let's be for real. Yeah, the people don't like that either.
Now, what I do like is when people they go custom. So instead of just buying some Jordans off the rack, they go custom with the sneakers. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. And also, I think it's a time and place. Like, okay, you want a sneaker ball from Razor, like, that's fine. Your auntie 60 knee replacement need a sneaker ball, like, that's fine. But if you are a young, able-bodied human, put your dress shoes on. Put your good shoes on. Like, I'm not a sneaker ball fan, but yeah, the streets hated that one.
See, I'm with the streets. I like a good sneaker ball, but I'm also a guy that if I could wear jerseys every day,
I'm saying?
I would. So yeah, that's just me. I'm partially living in the 2000s, but
and that'd be the problem. I said, honey, you look like a kid.
Actually, no, my spirit animal is an AAU coach / AAU dad. So like it's just a sweatshirt, the gym shoes, a hat. That's me.
Let me tell you something. That's my favorite old man outfit. When I be in Costco, I'm like, match your shoes, match your hat, jogging suit. I said, yeah, that man about his business. Yeah. I'm like, you go home, his grass green as hell. They're my favorite. I love them. That's my favorite old man outfit.
The Nike Tech, everything
be clean.
Match. Yep.
Everything match and be clean. Yes. I was like, that man, he paid his bills on time. That's my favorite old man outfit.
He got somewhere to be.
You on the right path.
Yeah. I'm working on it. I'm a little bit ahead of the game, but I'm working on it. I wanted to ask you, you had mentioned in terms of just like the balance, and you obviously are a mother, you have a job, you do Ask Jenn and amongst other things, and have other opportunities. How do you balance it all? How do you feel like you kind of balance it all or handle it all in terms of the different aspects or different circles of your life?
I take what I leave and need what I don't. Like, I know I can't do everything every day, but I prioritize what I want. So it's just like, some days I'm only able to do Ask Jenn and go home. Some days I'm only able to be mom and cook dinner. Like, and I won't work on anything Ask Jenn at all. Some days I'm only able to take business calls and I won't be able to talk to my friends. So it's just like, I make a trade-off on what I'm able to do that day, and I am okay with that. I feel like so often we feel like we have to try to do everything. But for me, I know going into this day, I probably won't be able to do everything, and I am okay with that. And I really think that helps me balance because, like I said, I like to watch TV. That's a lot of uninterrupted time. Mm-hmm. So it's just like me being able to prioritize, okay, the whole first half of the day, I'm probably not going to be doing nothing. I'm going to watch TV. The second half of the day, okay, I'm going to chew away at these emails and this Ask Jenn thing. I'm going to pitch this event or do this or get this done. I'm going to write this script. And then, you know what? I do want to hang out with my daughter, but I don't have time to cook dinner. So we might get carry out out and just cuddle on the couch. So it's just like me prioritizing what I need for today. Some days I'm like, mommy is overstimulated. I need to go hang out with some adults. I'm going out with my homegirl, but I'll make sure I be here to tuck you into bed. So it's just me being able to balance what a day looks like every day. I take this stuff one day at a time. I know some people are able to survive the juggling by being a super scheduler and a super planner. I try that sometimes. Like I said, if I'm paid to be somewhere, I will be there.
Yeah.
If it's by the check, I'm gonna show up. But everything else, I'm pretty flexible, and I just choose what I need for the day and I put it on. And what I can't, I leave it, and I'm okay with that. I'm not gonna be able to do laundry every day. I'm probably not gonna be able to clean my house up every day. But honey, the weekend I don't have no booking, or the evening I don't have no event, or I don't have to be nowhere.
Laundry getting done.
Laundry, exactly. So it's just like taking what I can and leaving what I don't.
Yeah, for sure. And I know you're big on friendship, relationships. I know a lot of your friends. I had a chance to interact with them or just know them personally. And so I'm curious to your thoughts on like a conversation about like low maintenance friends versus like friends who need a lot of attention and stuff like that. And I think you talked about it on, I think you talked about it with Aaron and maybe another episode of your own show. And I was just wondering kind of what's your thoughts on that, especially when it comes to women relationships, because I know that sometimes it can get complicated because you can have folks that feel slighted because certain things may be going on in somebody's life and they may not the relationship is not the same and they're not used to that. But overall, like, what do you have any thoughts about that? Low maintenance versus high maintenance friends?
For me, I feel like I'm a low maintenance friend. Like, I'm like, if you don't call me, like, I don't care. If you don't check on me, like, I don't like that's just me. Like, if I want you to know something is going on with me, I'm gonna let you know. But also, I feel like all friendships, I want to speak to female friendships specifically because like those are most of the friendship I have require depth. I'm sorry. So it's to the point that my friend will know like Jenn is not gonna call me and check on her, but if I really, really need to talk to her, I need to call her and tell her to come over right now. And I feel like when you grow with your friends, those are things you recognize. Also, if you are my friend and you know I'm going through a transition or you know I'm going through a difficult point, assume I'm not okay. I feel like that's another thing. We need to assume everything is an emergency. We can't wait for our friends to tell us that they're in the middle of emergency. So if you want to check on them like a crazy person frantically every single day, like, are you okay? Do that. I feel like that is better than not saying anything at all. With your friends, you know the ebbs and the flows that they are going through for the most part. And I can even say like, even if you don't know, if you haven't heard a friend share anything about their life lately, check in. Like, I feel like these don't have to be conversations about high or low maintenance. These are people in your life that you have relationships with. Don't assume no news is good news. So it's just like, I feel like so much of this is just common courtesy. It doesn't have to be, we talk a million times a day or on FaceTime for 3 hours or make sure we go out to dinner once a month. It's just like, these are people in your life. You should know what they need. Act accordingly.
Yeah, because even talking to people every day, you could still do that and they could be over there in the worst shape of their life. Or you could talk to somebody every day and not build depth in the friendship. Right. You could, I did this today and I'm going ahead and doing this and I just watched. Like, you're not building anything. And I feel like the friends that you actually require things from, you have depth with them. So like being able to recognize, all humans are creatures of habit. Recognize those patterns. And when your friend who you know is a certain way deviates from that pattern at all, tap in. Yeah. Because you always got the people, I'm fine. Like, nah, something ain't right.
Something ain't right.
You ain't as chatty. You ain't trying to go nowhere. You over there going through it.
It's just like, okay, so what if you found? Like, what's going on? Tell me something that made you happy, like in the last week. Little stuff like that. Check it. And I feel like, how you doing? You need anything? Get creative with the language. Sometimes it's not what you ask, it's how you ask it. So it's just like, if your friend is always saying they fine, like I said, just mention, what's something fun you did in the last week? Did you do anything that brought you joy? Did somebody do something nice for you? How has work been? Like ask different questions to kind of get to the same answer. These are my social work skills, tapping in. But get creative with the language, and I feel like you will watch the conversation be able to transform as well. Yeah.
What about the fellas? What do you think that we could do better in terms of maintaining those relationships?
I feel like men just isolate a lot. Like, I think the idea that I want to cry on my homeboy couch is not a thing for men. No. So the idea of gathering more, and I feel like this is very just cliche of me. Me and like gather for a reason, like, oh, we got a bachelor party or it's a birthday or something. The idea of just hang or y'all are watching like sports or something like that.
Yeah.
The idea of us just convening because we want to convene, I feel like that's something men don't do enough. And I feel like to provide like that real support and show one another that we are actually there for each other, get together for no reason more often. I feel like men should be able to do that. And again, especially with the check-ins for men, I feel like, and this is just me talking, this is very benevolently sexist of me. You tap in with him, he's not going to tell you how he feeling anyway. So you got to get in that, you have to get in his space and see what's going on. And I feel like those those gatherings that have no real reason will start to be the reason for that. That's why, like, I think men who like get together, like play pickup basketball or bowling or something like that, or have a hobby like that, feel like they are happier and more expressive because they get the opportunity to be around men for, I guess, to lollygag.
Yeah.
Men need to be lollygagging more dilly-dallying, more pussyfooting.
That's hilarious. Because when you said that we only gather pretty much for a reason, that's so true, because I had got with my homeboys not too long after I had got engaged, and then they just like, what's up? Like, what's going on? Like, everything all right? And I'm like, I just want to see y'all. I just wanted to see y'all. That's all.
What you doing? Come over. Men don't do that. You ain't do. I just rode. I was in your neighborhood. You at home. Men don't do that.
Facts.
The girlies do.
Facts.
Always keep a charcuterie board in the fridge. Ain't no telling who coming over.
You never know.
You never know. Emergency. Okay, keep you some chicken wings. Never know when you need to fry them. My homegirl might be dropping by my house. Like, men do not do that.
Facts. Big facts. So Jenn, what's next? What's on the horizon? What you got going on? What you got coming up that you can let us know? I know you be working on a lot of top secret stuff. So
I wish I was working on a lot of top secret stuff, but I actually do. I'm producing another show.
Fire. That
is going to be fun. It is going to be around a subject that I like a lot. That's really fun. Of course, always catch me at an event or a party. Make sure you follow me, Ask Jenn, to see the latest. This upcoming Saturday, I'll be doing something at TV Lounge. Black Tech Saturday is doing their Rocket Takeover, and our party at TV Lounge is going to be like the official after party. Is called the Dilly Dally. It's going to be a day party. It's supposed to be 75 degrees that day. Complimentary flower bar from Detroit Flower Company. That's going to be really nice. I'm excited about that. And just keep watching Ask Jenn. Like, that's always on the horizon. People like, what can I do for you, baby? Them episodes is on YouTube 24/7, 365, 364, depending on the year.
Watch them.
Go watch them.
Mm-hmm. What, and before we get up out of here, do you have any advice for an aspiring content creator or somebody who wants to get into a similar space as you?
Oh my gosh, just do it. And that's another thing. I'm like, people get weird when they like ask me about it. Like, I don't want to look like I'm copying you. Baby, I watch Jerry Springer and Oprah.
Right.
It's space for all of us. Yeah. Do it. Be approachable, be engaging, do your research, and be inviting enough to the fact that people feel comfortable enough to talk to you, and you can do it. Like, I'm like, this is easy. When people like Ask Jenn is a podcast, it's not quite a podcast, because I'm like, I always tell people, like, you know how you watch Oprah and like people were promoting a book or like had a movie coming out. So like that's kind of what Ask Jenn is for. And I tell people who like, if you just want to get your voice in front of somewhere, there are so many podcasts and so many platforms for you to do so. And if you are recognizing like, when I talk to these people on a podcast or when I join these conversations, I'm elevating them, I'm making people feel really good, I feel like you can step out and branch on your own, and you might have the opportunity to do something by yourself. Never be scared to ask people questions or collaborate. And again, just stay open and growing and learning. I'm always reading books about like talk shows or reading books about communication or talking to people. I watch old episodes of like Oprah, Tyra Banks, more. I am always researching what I'm doing and figuring out ways to get better. So always be a student too. I think that's really important. I feel like in the digital space, especially, we got TikTok and YouTube University. I feel like people are so under the belief that they don't have to learn more, or that was what things were in the past. But one thing we know about this world is cyclical. One thing that has been done will be done again. And the best thing you can do to be at your best is to research.
Facts. Big facts. Well, how does it feel to be on this side of the mic versus being on the other side?
I love it. I love yapping and talking about myself. I don't think people recognize. So when I interview people on Ask Jenn, I'm talking about them.
Right.
When I do questions on Ask Jenn, I am answering other people's questions.
Right. You don't get to talk about Jenn.
Get to talk about myself, and I love it so much because I think I'm an interesting girl. And anybody who asks, depending on who you ask, will tell you the same thing.
I've been trying to figure out myself how to do more of that, like kind of, because people will say that I have these conversations like we're doing right now, but I don't get a chance. I don't talk about myself or like what I do, and so I've been trying to figure out how to play around with that.
I'm glad, and the thing is, I'm glad you're conscious of that, because me as a person who listens to podcasts. One thing I hate a podcaster who got a guest on there who was always talking about their stuff. Drink champs, turn it off. Stop talking about yourself. Like, it drives me crazy. So for you to know, like, I don't talk about myself enough, you're doing the right thing.
Right.
You're doing it
Facts.
right.
Because one thing, myself and JG, we went on a podcast in his studio, and he just was like, he was reminding people like, hey, it ain't about you. If you got an interview-based show, it ain't about you.
You can sit on the couch and talk about do an episode where you sit on the couch and talk about yourself until
right.
If people like it, they'll eat it up. If they don't, learn something from that.
There you go. Pastor Jenn back. Pastor Jenn
learn
back.
something from that. You're not as interested as you think. Stop interrupting your guests. Like, let them get their story out.
Right. Well, I had a dog too when I was there. No,
who cares about Fight Out? Nobody cares.
Oh my God. Well, give everybody your handles, your social website, where they can tap in with you if they want to book you, if they want to buy something from you, if they want to watch the show.
Oh my gosh. So you can find the show on the Uprising TV on YouTube. If you want to book me, you can go to my website. Also, my episodes are on my website as well. And you can submit questions for me to answer them on the show on my website too. AskJennShow.com. So AskJennShow.com. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok, ASK.JENN.
Perfect. Jenn, I love the content that you do. I love the work that you do. I love the gems that you dropped here today. I definitely learned a lot, and I got some notes. I got some notes for sure. And it's dope to see how you're developing a platform and also building your personal brand, inspiring people, and also like serving them in the terms of literally what Ask Jenn is about, answering their questions, giving them some guidance and helping them figure out how to navigate life. So we appreciate you stopping by the platform.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Anytime. And everybody watching, listening, we're going to tap in with y'all soon. Peace.